What if just like a dysfunctional family system has to fall apart? Maybe it's the black sheep of the family awakening, healing, realizing everything. And that is causing a lot of turbulence in the family system because they're very much used to the homeostatic dynamic of enmeshment that has been familiar to them forever. What if that, in comparison to the falling apartness of the world, is just like I understand people are terrified of the world seemingly falling apart. And maybe that's exactly what's happening. Maybe the reality of the matter is that the world is falling apart. I mean, we see all of these crazy things happening in the world on the news and the media and everything. But what I'm here to do is draw a comparison between the world seemingly falling apart and a dysfunctional family falling apart because the black sheep of the family wakes up. It realizes that the dysfunctional dynamic of the system is just too fucked up for it to continue being a part of it. And so, as it steps away from it, as it starts to see it for what it is and be like, oh, wow, you guys are fucked up, this is enmeshment. I don't want to be a part of this system anymore. You guys involve yourselves in pseudo intimacy, and I don't like that. Is it weird, scary, strange, all of these overwhelming emotions to see the world seemingly falling apart? Yeah. This is a structure that affects everybody. In the family system, in a nuclear family, it's pretty much no different. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there are different things going on in the world and society, different people. It's a matter that still affects everybody, but it's so much the same that, like, when you see a black sheep of the family step away and start to awaken, start to heal, start to be like, oh wow, I don't want to be involved in this structure anymore. How different is it really? I mean, other than potentially nuclear fallout, nuclear war, all that stuff. Um, how different is it really? I was thinking about this the other day because I was looking at the reality of many family systems out there, dysfunctional family systems, psychosomatic family systems, where the family is so dysfunctional and unhealthy, lacking healthy boundaries, lacking everything necessary to be a healthy family, that it actually creates and causes disease within the system. And a lot of people are very stressed out about the world, the state of the world falling apart. And believe me when I say that I understand, but I also understand that when something falls apart, it's usually because it's not working. It's dysfunctional. It doesn't function properly according to at least healthy standards. When a psychosomatic family falls apart, it's usually because the family system itself is unhealthy. It's just not functioning properly. It's not allowing for individuality. It's not allowing for the people in the family to have healthy boundaries, to be individuated, to be differentiated. So it's falling apart. Hey, we don't want this anymore, so we're going to step away, we're going to rebel, we're going to revolt, and that's the way that it is. There are many things about the world that just don't work. They might work for one person, that doesn't mean that it works for everybody. And there are so many different people in the world that want different things, and that's really important to look at. It really is. So it's fascinating to me. I see the dysfunctionality of the world. Does it concern me? Yeah, I'd hate to think that somebody might push a button that does something. It's not really fair to put it into that kind of context to like recognize, oh wow, yeah, anything could happen. But when I look at it, I recognize it for what I believe it is. which is other than the potentiality of, like, you know, the annihilation of everything because somebody could push a button. It's no different from the nuclear family that has deeply rooted structural issues, psychosomatic issues, dysfunctionality, lack of healthy boundaries, enmeshment. And, say for instance, if that family consisted of five, two parents, three sibs, you take one of those sibs that's like right over here, and this sib starts to go away. And then everyone here is like, hey, what are you doing? Come back over here. A crazy society tries to get the people that want to walk away from it back in, just like a family that is dysfunctional and unhealthy. But it's really no different from a family that is dysfunctional and unhealthy. It's pretty much the same dynamic. You have the person in the society that sees the fucked upness. And don't get me wrong, it's not just one person, it's multiple people. It's so many people that at this point there's an entire fucking community, at least one entire fucking community of them. In the case of the family, it's usually the one person that starts to, the one black sheep of the family that starts to open their eyes wider and be like, interesting. I'm going to go that way. And then they just disturb the homeostasis of the fucked upness of the family. And the family probably tries to get them to come back, does whatever, entices them with the ideals of comfort and familiarity that they're used to, which can very easily pull a lot of people back in. But the main theme of this video, just so that it's not misunderstood, is if you're afraid of the world falling apart, if you're afraid of society or societies falling apart, I would argue that it's pretty much no different from a dysfunctional family falling apart, because at least one thing is not working. If you have a foundation that has cracks in it, it's not safe. It doesn't matter what the foundation is. If there are any flaws in the foundation, I'm not talking about perfection here. I'm talking about workable, functional, a bridge. If a bridge has severe cracks in it, you're probably not going to want to walk over it to go to the other side, because it doesn't function properly. It's all wobbly, and who knows when, if you walk over it, you could fall through it. A dysfunctional family is really no different. To compare it to walking on eggshells, that's dysfunctional. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to be part of a system. It's not healthy to be a person that makes other people, even if you're not aware of it, makes other people walk on eggshells. It's not healthy. It's not a healthy way of relating to others. It's not a healthy way of holding a relationship. And so, in the case of the bridge, if you want to walk across to get to the other side, you want to make sure that it's safe. If you want to be in a relationship with people, you want to make sure that they're safe, that they're not going to throw eggshells down every step you guys take and make you walk over things where explosive anger comes about. That's not healthy. It's not functional. It's not okay. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's just not healthy. And it doesn't lead to anything beneficial in regards to any sort of relationship. So just like the family has to fall apart by the black sheep usually awakening, doing the work on themselves, and realizing, wow, I've walked on eggshells my entire fucking life, and I've experienced explosive anger, and I've learned that that's normal. No, it's not normal. It's not. Well, how actually different is that from, I would say that there's far less control in terms of a healthy direction of society. But who's to say that it's actually that much different than any given society falling apart, discovering the cracks in the structure that are not healthy. Structures that don't function need some sort of reset. And if falling apart is the beginning of that reset, then that's what it needs. I understand people can become very comfortable and familiar with different dynamics and really not want things to change. In fact, people can become so comfortable and familiar with dynamics that they're not happy with, that even though they're not happy with it, they would rather it just stay the same because it's comfortable and familiar. Yeah, it's wild. It's very, very wild. It's fascinating. But it doesn't need to be that way. It really doesn't. And understanding that in order for something better to come along, things usually need to fall apart. First, you need to recognize the dysfunctionality of it. A bridge cannot function properly if there are cracks in it, if there is serious damage to it, if there is severe unhealth to it. A family cannot properly operate if there is severe damage and unhealth to it. Nobody really wants to live in a society that has severe damage, is dysfunctional, and is unhealthy. And it is unhealthy for the society, just like the family, to continue in dysfunctional ways.